Up with Jake and Fulton coming to you on a Victory Monday. Thank you so much for joining us. Lots to celebrate for the weekend that was. Virtually every team that played this weekend got the win. And honestly, KU, you're winning because you're going to a bowl game. I look today, it might be the Guaranteed Rate Bowl now, but does not matter.
I wouldn't mind going to Phoenix in December. I'm okay with that.
Does not matter. You're going to a bowl game every single Saturday is a win for the Jayhawks, even if it's not on the field. But Dan Marino back with the Cats. Look what ends up happening. Another beatdown for the Wildcats. We'll get to the Kansas City Chiefs because they did something today or yesterday that no other team in the National Football League has done yet this year. And the Kansas City Chiefs did that. Oh, by the way, that is your number one seed in the AFC West, Kansas City Chiefs. As we want to thank the Minnesota Vikings and more importantly, Justin Jefferson and Josh Allen.
Yeah, thank Josh Allen's Butterfingers.
Yes. We will get to all of that. We got a lot to talk about today on this edition of Mic'd Up. Hit us up on our Big O Tires text line, 785-272-9429. Outside of Topeka, 785-272-9429. Would love to get your thoughts on this Victory Monday. Hit us up on Twitter at SportsOn580. Very simple, very easy. Same thing on YouTube. You can get all of our recaps of high school, Washburn, KU, K-State Chiefs, interviews and everything up on our YouTube page. Go to YouTube, type in SportsOn580. Very simple, SportsOn580. And you can watch the show, listen to it on in the background. So simple, so easy. Leave us a note in the comments section as well. Love to get your thoughts on this Victory Monday edition. The Kansas City Chiefs had 3 turnovers in the game. And the Jaguars got an onside kick. That's essentially 4 turnovers. The Jaguars got 4 turnovers in the game. One of them doesn't count as a turnover, but it was a stolen possession.
It's stealing a possession. That's the idea of a turnover. Yes. You're stealing a possession.
Yes. And the Kansas City Chiefs won the game. The Jaguars had 0 turnovers and got an onside kick, forced 3 turnovers, and lost by 10. They lost by 10. They weren't even in the game. They lost by 10. Prior to the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, the NFL, if you were plus 3 turnovers and you did not commit a turnover, because there have been, where you force 4 turnovers, but you have 1 turnover. But when you are plus 3 and you did not have a turnover yourself, this year in the NFL, you were 22-0. It is now 22-1 because the Kansas City Chiefs are the only team right now this year, in the year of our Lord 2022, to win a game with a -3 turnover ratio, and they did not force one. Added on top of that, an onside kick. And they still won by 10. Still won by 10. It was not a game. The last score didn't matter. It was 27-10. The game was over. They scored a late touchdown. It was made it 27-17. Didn't matter. Like, this team just finds ways to get it done. When they weren't turning it over, they were very efficient with the football, 4 touchdowns. So miss me with the Chiefs' offense is in trouble, all that kind of. No, it's not. No, it's not. They had the ball 9 times. Chiefs had the ball 9 times. They had 4 touchdowns, 1 fumble, 1 interception. Now, another one of those fumbles that was on the kickoff. So I'm not giving that to the offense. So the Chiefs had 9 times they had the football. 4 touchdowns, 1 fumble, 1 interception, 2 punts, 1 drive, the very last one, which was nice to see, where they ended the game. So you had the fumble, you had the interception. You only punted twice. They only punted twice out of 9 times. That's pretty good. And the other one, they ended the game. Like, if anything, you want to say that's a touchdown because the opposing team didn't get the football back and they just ran out the clock, because that's what we want the Chiefs to do. You know, at the end of the game, find a way to run the football, get first downs, even though they know you're going to run it and you know you're going to run it, you're still able to run it. They did that. That's like the first time ever. If you want to count that as a touchdown. You know, really, really simple. Don't fumble the football. And Mahomes got a little greedy, although that should have been a penalty. We're going to talk about officials today again.
Yeah, we're going to have to, folks. We're just going to have to.
But Travis Kelce got absolutely bear hugged on that interception. That's why when the flag came out, I was like, oh, well, that's going to be holding on the Jaguars. But they were good with the football when they had it, despite turning it over 3 times and not getting an onside kick. Like, that's what makes this team special. The offense looked good at times, but the Chiefs defense was awesome. And I know you're thinking, oh, it's just the Jags, Jake. No big deal. It's just the Jaguars. I get it. The Jags are not the Bills or the Vikings or the Eagles. I understand that. They're not even the Tennessee Titans. Nobody had beaten the Jags by double figures yet this year.
That's true. All their losses were on 1 score.
Or 9 points.
Yeah.
This was a 17-point game. To me,
this is a 20-point game at 1 point.
To me, the final score, the final drive for the Jags doesn't mean a whole lot. It really doesn't, because the game was essentially over, and that's why when I look at the game yesterday, here's what the Chiefs defense did in the game yesterday. The Jags scored with 5 minutes to go in the game. Awesome. You scored with 5 minutes to go in the game and you made it a 2-possession game. Sweet. That score doesn't count. Chiefs defense. Jags had the football 10 times because, well, the Chiefs special teams is not special. From now on, we are not calling them special teams. We are calling them ordinary teams, because that's what they are. And Dave Tobe right now is an ordinary special teams coach. They are ordinary teams, all right? Until they do something special, they are ordinary teams, regular teams, generic teams. Which one do you want to go with? Which one of those 3 makes you feel, like it fits the best? I think generic.
I think generic's probably the best one.
We're going to go generic teams for the Kansas City Chiefs. But the Chiefs defense, Jags had the ball 10 times. 10! 1 touchdown, 1 field goal, 2 missed field goals. Here's what I loved about the Chiefs defense. There are 4 possessions that I absolutely was thrilled with by this Chiefs defense. Onside kick, generic teams, Dave Tobe, coach him up. That's on you. That's not the player.
Like,
that's on you.
I get that you're not. I know you're not expecting an onside kick on the opening kickoff. You gotta react faster than that.
No. What tells me that is the Jags saw that on film that they were leaving early and they weren't paying attention. Yeah. That's on the coaching staff.
That's actually fair. No, that's fair.
So they get the onside kick. Chiefs defense They weren't expected to go out on the field. Hell, they were probably sitting down.
They're just chilling. They're vibing.
Yeah. Boom, quick out on the field. They force a punt,
which is still the saddest thing I've ever seen.
That's fantastic. If you are the Kansas City,
you can't
Chiefs.
onside kick then punt in your opposing territory.
Isaiah Pacheco fumbles the football.
Hang on to the ball, dude.
Chiefs defense forces a punt.
Yeah.
That's basically
Load up.
Back-to-back turnovers. They force a punt.
Yeah, back-to-back turnovers, and they were just like, we're good.
Chiefs special teams. Chiefs generic teams. Fumble football again. Chiefs defense force the field goal. I don't care that there was limited time at the end of that one. You forced a field goal, didn't give up a whole lot of yardage, and you made it a long field goal. Missed field goal. Then you give up a field goal after a 17-play drive. Do you know how demoralizing that is for an offense? You march it 17 plays, and you got to end with a field goal. Those 4 series by the Chiefs defense were fantastic because all 4 of them were because of mistakes that the other 2 aspects of the game, the offense and generic teams, forced you in a bad spot. So that is terrific. They gave up just nothing. They gave up 10 points in a game. 10 points. That was awesome. And the pass rush was terrific. 5 sacks, 6 QB hits. Willie Gay looked awesome early on.
Yeah, he was looking great.
Nick Bolton tackling machine. Leo Chanel with some big plays on the blitz. Colin Saunders doing the little bit, their too little, celebration, which low-key is a great celebration.
Oh, it's the best one.
And then Carlos Dunlap getting in the backfield. George Karlaftis with a big first series batted PBU. And then Chris Jones arguably is in the hunt to me for defensive player of the year the way he's playing. He was
He's up there.
Unguardable in that situation. Chiefs offense and everybody has, turnover issues, turnover problems. Nope. Chiefs defense, they got it taken care of. That was a fantastic game, despite the first half being drunk off tequila, essentially, with the turnovers and the fumbles. And
I mean, the Chiefs didn't really show up until the second quarter.
And then, the Jags making some terrible decisions, and then they're missing field goal. Like the whole first half was like you went out to drink with your buddies, you forgot to eat, and they're like, yeah, tequila shots. It was just such a weird game in that first half, but they found a way. The Chiefs play bad. They found a way to win every game this year, but one. You know the saying, and Bill Self has always said this, and I firmly believe it. If you play 30 games in basketball, take your 5 best games, throw them out. Take your 5 worst games, throw them out. What are your 20 games in the middle? That's who you are.
Yeah.
The Chiefs' best game this year probably was against the Bucks.
Yeah, they were so...
Or the 49ers.
I would say the Bucks because they were so complete on both passing and rushing.
Okay.
They actually were able to run the ball in that game.
Okay, the Bucks and the 49ers, their best games.
Yeah.
The worst games for the Chiefs were probably, obviously, the Colts game. And then I'd probably say the Raider game. They were down 17-0.
Yeah, the Raider games then, honestly, as I know we've kind of corrected it a bit and have pointed out that there were a lot of other factors, the Titans game needs to get discussed in there because they only had 9 points for so much of that game.
Okay.
They played better. We noted they did play better than what you would think.
Mm-hmm.
It still wasn't optimal.
Yeah. And so that's what they do.
Yeah.
They find a way to win. And that was excellent in the game yesterday. It really, really was. From the Big O Tires text, I noticed Andy Reid shut it down again when we got a sizable lead. That's what he does. That is what Andy Reid does is in the regular season. They get a lead by 17. I thought to myself, well, we're going to see if they can run the football. And to the credit of the Kansas City Chiefs, they did run the football at the end of the game.
Yeah.
You can run the football when when the defense knows you're running it and you still can't do anything about it. At the end of the game, they're up by 10. There's 5 minutes to go in the game. They ended the game. They went on an 11-play drive. Now, granted, it helped that one of the plays to, 3rd and 7, and MVS makes that catch one-handed, gets his knee down by a millimeter, but he can't catch the one that hits him right in the hands. Go figure. But that's what Andy Reid does. There's a fine line between trying to dial it back and trying to run clock, shorten the game, and staying aggressive and trying to, go for the throat. I understand a little bit what Andy Reid does. I do. On the offensive side, I understand it. You don't want to get away from it completely, but there is a delicate balance in that. There is some nuance in, hey, we're up by 3 possessions. There's no reason for us to throw it 3 straight times and go down the field and all that. You're up 3 possessions. I get it. I'm not upset there. When you're up 3 possessions, I'm all right in the 4th quarter, you tone it down. Because the amount of times it's going to take for the other team to score. Now, granted, your generic teams have to be better than what it was. We'll talk more, Dave Tope, in a little bit. But good effort from the Kansas City Chiefs. And Trey Wingo put this out there. The Chiefs have won 24 straight games in November or December when Patrick Mahomes is their quarterback. Since 1950, no other team quarterback has put together a streak longer than 17. They've won 24 straight games in November and December. What the hell is that? 24 straight games.
They get in a groove and you can't beat them.
Josh McDaniels hasn't even won 24 games as head coach in his career, and he's had 2 stints.
Speaking of Josh McDaniels.
We're going to get to that.
We'll get to that.
We'll talk about that. Coming up next, we got a little weekend's takeaways and fails here on Mic'd Up. Your weekend takeaways and fails. What do you got?
I would like there to be one week in sports where I don't have to bring this up. Officials, you got to be better. And I'm going to do this very, very specifically for mine here. If in the NFL we're trying to take out dangerous hits, you got to find a guy for headhunting. Andre Sisco headhunted twice and got flagged neither time against the Jags. And the MVS one, we can have a conversation. We can't. The one on Juju was reckless. A man could not protect himself. He led with the crown of his helmet and hit head to head.
I don't know if it was the crown of his helmet.
It was close, but it was leading with the head.
What I'll say is they said it was led with his shoulder. The shoulder did hit first, but he definitely
hit a defenseless player in his head.
Yeah, that's, to me, it's not that he led with the shoulder.
Yeah, I don't care what body part it is. You a defenseless player right to the head.
And that's the one, to me, like that's very subjective. I'm with you. Yeah. I would have flagged it in heck, in college. He probably would have been kicked off the team.
In college, that's targeting.
No, he would have been ejected. No, the worst one, to me, there's one even more worse than that one. Twice in the Buffalo Vikings game, the officials blew a call twice. First and goal at the 3 for Buffalo. Or no, first and goal at the 3 for Minnesota. In overtime. Right? In overtime. They run it. Boy, Dalvin Cook got destroyed. Coming to find out, Buffalo had 12 guys on the field.
Yeah, can't miss that.
What are you count? How do you miss that? They had 12 guys on the field in that situation. Okay? Next series. They throw it. It's in overtime. So you can't throw a challenge flag.
Yeah, all replays from the booth.
And diving catch. They said he caught it. All right, let's move up. Buffalo does. You can't challenge it at that point in time. You know, the Vikings were saying, hey, let's challenge it. Let's look at it.
Let's take a look.
Easily dropped pass. Those two are, that's embarrassing. But, and again, I know officiating is hard. I understand it. There's zero accountability. Zero accountability.
Oh, zero.
Did you have any good for the weekend?
I mean, the good. I like a little local flavor. Washburn finished their season with a win.
Mine was going to be more specific.
Oh, hit me with the more specific on that.
JJ Letcher with a 90-yard punt return for a touchdown.
That's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
He's unbelievable.
Unreal.
What a fantastic career. Washburn goes 7-4, and their losses by 2 points on a last-second field goal, by 7 points, by 8 points, and then to Pittsburgh State by 14, but that was a much closer game. Razor-thin margins. But, man, great. I mean, great finish for Washburn. Coming up, we'll get to around the NFL. Mic'd up. Thank you so much for joining us. Jake Vaughn, Fulton Caster with you. Coming up from 6 to 7, we've got the Chiefs Kingdom Show. Mitch Holtis will be talking all things Chiefs. Then we've got Monday Night Football coming up this evening. And it's actually one that's kind of important to watch because the Eagles are playing. That is right.
The what?
The Eagles.
Eagles.
Yeah, the Eagles.
Eagles.
Yeah, that's what I said.
No, you didn't. You said Eagles. The Wiggles.
Yeah.
They're not the Wiggles. They're the Eagles.
Yeah, they're playing tonight. We're in agreement. I mean, we're agreeing. And one of the things I love about betting the NFL, and I'm always finding new players or game props that I like. What's great about the FanDuel Sportsbook and the Sportsbook app is you combine these props with other bets from the same game to score an even bigger payout. Perfect for tonight's game. I've got A.J. Brown scoring a touchdown. The dude is on a heater. A.J. Brown touchdowns. Jalen Hurts over on rushing yards. I've been running it a lot. I like the over in this situation. Same game parlays are just one of the reasons I bet with FanDuel. They're easy to use. So simple. You can find your bets easy as well as live betting. And odds boosts are a lot of fun because you have a chance to get some big paydays. There's nothing like nailing a same game parlay bet, so lock in your bet today on FanDuel Sportsbook app. Right now, new customers get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with the promo code Jake. That's promo code Jake. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 present. Can't first online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as an on-trial free bet. Times expire 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas. Under agreement with the Kansas Star Casino LLC. Gambling problem, getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com. The Minnesota Vikings.
Are they good or are they just getting lucky? Because
I'm gonna say this real quick. Justin Jefferson is awesome.
Yes, Justin Jefferson is unreal and an absolute monster. That's correct.
He's the most underrated wide receiver in the NFL. Everybody talks about Cooper Kupp or they talk about Tyreek. Justin Jefferson is awesome. Do you remember? This is what's crazy about this is the Vikings traded Stephon Diggs for the 18th pick. With that 18th pick, they took Justin Jefferson. Like, they literally traded a top shelf wide receiver and drafted a better one. Justin Jefferson is awesome. The
Vikings
so good.
Basically did what the Titans tried to do, but the Vikings actually succeeded. Because the Titans traded A.J. Brown, then used that pick to get Treylon Burks.
Yeah, it did not work.
And it's currently not working. Here's my thing with Minnesota. One, I agree Justin Jefferson might be slightly still underrated. Trust me, he's leading offensive player of the year campaigns at this moment. Everyone thinks
I think Tyreek is. He's got more in everything.
Well, Tyreek will get AFC offensive player of the year.
There's not AFC. There's just
offensive. I don't know.
There's just offensive.
I literally care about two awards every year, and it's MVP and Defensive Player of the Year.
Oh, I care about Super Bowl champion.
Personal awards, not the Super Bowl is not an award. It's I'm moving on. I'm moving on from that silliness. But here's my thing: Minnesota's now won 7 straight games.
Yes,
that's important.
Yep, they're only lost to the Eagles.
But I still don't think they're that good. Because think about it. The only reason they beat Buffalo was because Josh Allen can't hold on to a football. That's it. They had lost the game. They were done. They couldn't score from the half-inch line.
Now, I also will say, and I know we're getting a little nitpicky here, but that's
what we do.
That's how close the NFL is.
Yeah, it's really close
you
the NFL
say the only reason that they won that game is because Josh Allen can't hold on to football, which is true.
Yeah.
Which is true. But also, they were 6 inches away from beating them. So to say they're not good, you know what I mean? To say that, but because of 6 inches,
and I will say
it's so small. I understand where you're coming from,
and I'll say this. I'll say this as well. I think they've elevated from not good. They're a level of good. I don't think they're as great as you would think an 8-1 team is. I don't put them out the Super Bowl conversation tier. That Vikings team, I do not believe they could win a Super Bowl. I do not believe they could because it has taken some incredible stroke of luck in some of these games to win.
I don't know if they are they're Super Bowl contenders because
I don't even want to call them that.
You're 7-1 right now.
They're 8-1.
They're 8-1, and you just beat the team that everybody thinks is going to win on the road. To say they're not good. Now, to say who'd you take, the Eagles or the Vikings? I take the Eagles because the Eagles already beat them, and I think they're better. But they are the second best team in the NFC, and there's no debate. There is zero debate that they are the second best team in the NFC. I think the optics are bad.
It's just the way they're winning just feels so unsustainable. Their offense is hope Dalvin Cook breaks a big run, or bleep it, Justin Jefferson's down there somewhere.
Hey, that
That's
works.
their offense.
It works. Justin Jefferson's got 1,000 yards receiving already in 10 games.
And more importantly, it's this. They're still led by Kirk Cousins, who can't win in primetime. Now, if they can shake that bugaboo near the end of the season here, that we get the Vikings under the lights and everybody in the country watching them, and they win some games, and good old Kirko has some good games, maybe my mind will change. But I just have a hard time feeling the pressure's on. We're deep in the playoffs. You need someone to make a play.
They got a guy.
I don't believe they can consistently do it. Because,
you got to give Kirk Cousins credit. The dude made some monster throws in that one.
He made some throws that were impressive.
Okay.
But
end of discussion.
They were a lot of those also were Justin Jefferson made some amazing grabs in coverage.
The one on 4th and 16, yes, that might be the catch of the year. But the bucket throw that he threw to Jefferson to get to the 3, we're real close. I think you're a lot more they suck than I am.
Well, and I want to clarify, it's not that they suck. They're not Super Bowl contenders. They're not to me. They're not.
Well, so there's how many Super Bowl contenders are there in the NFC then?
That's a great question.
See, to me, I think those are those two right now, and because I can see them going to the title game. If you go to the title game,
making the NFC title game because the NFC's that bad.
Well, if you make the title game, you're a Super Bowl contender because if you're one of 4 teams
with
left.
The way the NFC is shaping up this year, sure, the Vikings are a contender because the rest of the league is that bad.
But
the NFC is garbage.
See, to me, it's not so much about the Vikings; it's more about the Bills because Josh Allen right now has a turnover problem.
No one wants to talk about it. Josh Allen is the 3rd most combined turnovers in the NFL.
He's thrown the most interceptions in
and he
the
has
NFL.
8 fumbles.
And of those 11 interceptions, 6 of those are in the red zone. That game is tied. That's a tie ball game.
Yeah.
If he doesn't laser beam one right to Duke Shelley. By the way, Duke Shelley.
Patrick Peterson got the pick.
Duke Shelley.
Duke Shelley made some good plays. Duke Shelley had a one-on-one breakup on Dawson Knox that is more impressive on the height change because Duke's listed like 5'8". Dawson Knox is 6'4".
Yeah, that was a good play.
That is the impressive part. That was amazing.
But the Bills, Josh Allen to me has taken himself out of the MVP.
He's played his way out of it. He's turning it over too much. Like
I did not
he's
have
costing his team's games.
I did not have Josh Allen, the first NFL quarterback to throw 10 interceptions.
No, but I'm just going to put this out. And this point I'm about to make is not to try and discredit how great Josh Allen is because he has become arguably the 2nd best quarterback in the AFC. Honestly, probably not even arguably. He's always had a turnover problem. It's never been like high, massive level, but he's always kind of thrown some, he's gotten better at it the past couple years a little bit, but it's not like he's been this perfect poster child or never turning the ball over.
Well, this year he had 10, he leads the league, right? Last year he had 15, which is 1 a game. The year before that,
10, 15, 10. Only 9 in 2019. Good for him. Then 12, but then you have to account in his, he does that. But then fumbles, though. 8, 14, 9, 8, 8.
No, the fumbles are for sure, but
he's always had a little bit of a turnover problem.
In the interceptions category, I'll say the last 2 years, yes.
Yeah, I'm willing to hear arguments on his interceptions and how it's bad, but he's always had a ball security problem in the pocket.
Yeah,
always.
15's too many. If you throw 10 interceptions a year
in today's NFL,
that's not a problem.
It's not great, but it's not the worst.
The fumbles are a problem.
Yeah, he has 47 career fumbles. He's been an NFL starter this is his 5th year. He has 47 fumbles.
How many throw out the fumbles for his rookie year? I don't count rookie years when it comes to that.
He has 39.
So 39 in
4 years.
Well, not 4 years.
Well, if
3.5.
If we're throwing out his 3.5, then okay. I thought you were going to add more. And I'm like, we're throwing out the rookie year. That's 39 and 3.5.
That's a lot.
And this is not to bag on Josh Allen or make people think he's a very, very good player. But this is a thing no one has ever really talked about. He has at minimum a fumble problem.
Yeah.
He has a ball security problem. And this is the year it's starting to bite Buffalo a little bit.
Well, their last 2 games that they lost to the Jets.
They're because Josh Allen can't hang on to the ball, can't control the ball. Because picks are not exactly hanging on, but there's still ball security.
But in general, no, I'm with you there. But the Bills go from the number 1 seed in the AFC to the number 6 seed in the AFC.
They're currently the 3rd best team in their own division by record. With things that are said and done, Bills probably still going to win the division. But by record, they're They're third.
No, like they're the number 6 seed in the
Yeah.
AFC. That's with the Jets and the Dolphins
Or ahead of them.
And both of them
Hold the tiebreaker.
hold the tiebreaker. Well, the head-to-head doesn't matter because they go by division first. So,
plus I think they still have one game left against both those teams. So
yeah,
that could all as of right now.
Yeah. Some other things happening in the NFL yesterday that stand out. The Chargers go down. The 49ers come back and get the victory. Not surprised because, I mean, you don't have Josh Williams. You don't have Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. You don't have a whole lot. When your number one receiver is some cat named Palmer, that ain't going to get it done.
As bad as Trey Pipkins is, when he's not playing and Mr. Storm Norton is trying to play on that offensive line, and you got to block a Bosa.
I didn't think their O-line played that bad yet.
And they played better than I expected.
Yeah, so that's why I won't go down that road. But they have nobody to throw to.
No.
And the Chargers lose. Like, it was honestly the best situation for the Chiefs yesterday.
Yeah.
They win, the Bills lose, the Broncos lose, the Chargers lose, and the Raiders lose. Everybody in the AFC West. And it sets up her. This is what we were hoping for. This is why the most important game over the weekend was the Chargers and the Vikings game, because the Vikings ended up pulling out a win, although credit Josh Allen, tough dude, playing despite not practicing all week.
Yeah.
But now that the Vikings lost, you move up to the 1 seed. The Chargers lost. If you beat the Chargers in LA on Sunday Night Football, you have a 3-game lead over the Chargers. You're undefeated in your division. You swept the Chargers. I mean,
and all you got left is 2 against Denver and 1 against Vegas.
I mean, you probably win the division.
You're in the catbird seat for that division heavily
with a 3-game lead,
and with the way the Broncos and Raiders are playing, you're not that worried about them making a run.
No,
the Broncos can't score in the second half, and the
Broncos can't do anything right.
Josh McDaniels should not have been allowed back to the facility.
So the Raiders lost to the Colts and a 64-year-old quarterback. The Raiders allowed Matt Ryan to run for a 39-yard gain.
They let a fossil run for 39 yards.
That was incredible. But the Raiders lose to Jeff Saturday and the Colts. The Colts stink, but the Raiders are even more of a mess.
Jeff Saturday took that job on Monday. Parks Frazier learned he was calling plays on Wednesday. You gave up nearly a 30 ball.
Yeah. So the Raiders lose.
Oh, that is embarrassing.
I don't know why. Like, I could have told you. I could have told you that Urban Meyer was going to be a disaster.
Yeah, we all called that.
I could have told you that Matt Patricia was going to be a disaster. Yeah. I could have told you that Josh McDaniels was going to be a disaster. Yet, these guys whose job is, that's why I truly believe the whole having an outsider's perspective to see the forest through the trees is sometimes beneficial, because I could have told you that Josh McDaniels was not going to work out. No way was that going to work out.
He had that Belichick shine to him. He looked so good on your bill.
You don't need the Belichick. You saw what happened in Denver.
No,
I don't even need that. And I'm so happy about it. I hope he comes back next year. I hope Mark Davis gives him another crack at it. I really do.
Give him a 5-year extension. I have been laughing.
No, that's terrible.
You can't.
Yeah.
You lost to an NFL pundit. That's what you did.
The other games that were important, the Bucks came up. The Bucks over the last 2 weeks, the Tampa Bay Bucks have found a way to get wins. Now, I feel bad for Seattle, because Seattle had to fly from, Seattle, not just flying across the country, not just flying across the pond. You had to fly all the way to Munich. Now, the game there was pretty cool. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
When crowds sing along with songs, it sounds pretty cool. And at the end of the game, I didn't realize, and maybe I don't know how many, Germans were there compared to Americans. I did not realize John Denver was that worldly known. I did not think of John Denver, like like the old, English rock bands or even like the new stuff,
Yeah.
Like I didn't think John Denver big in in Frankfurt and Munich and Berlin, but apparently, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just go on, the interwebs, type in ES or NFL Munich Germany game John Denver, and it'll pop up. They sing Country Roads, and there's like a minute to go in the game, and they actually hand the ball off while they're just singing Country Road, Take Me Home to a place, and the whole crowd is just like in arm, just belting it. I had no idea.
European crowds are the best.
I had no idea that John Denver had that much traction, in the European Union. Like I can see like Billy Joel. I can see, like those, like American, long, like Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
Like I can see that. Did not think like the huge Paul Simon fans over there. Like I have no idea, but either way, the Bucks got a monster win. They are now in the driver's seat in the NFC South because the NFC South stinks. The Rams aren't going to make the playoffs. The Rams lost to Colt McCoy and the Cardinals. Like the Rams are not going to make the playoffs.
No, they won't.
Right now, the Rams
they're so bad.
Are 3-6, and there are 5 teams ahead of them, and the Rams still have to play the Kansas City Chiefs. They still have to play the Seahawks. They still have to play the Packers. They have to play the Seahawks twice, and you got to play the Chargers. Like the Rams are going to go Super Bowl win to not even make the playoffs, would be my guess. They've lost 3 in a row. That was
listen, if the Bengals
disaster.
aren't careful and keep up their, trying to keep some things going, you can have both your Super Bowl teams miss the playoffs.
I think the Bengals are going to end up being okay because
they probably will. They probably will.
I do think New England and the Jets, I'm still not sold on both of them making it in there. And
the AFC still cannibalize itself.
And the Chargers are going to go full Charger.
Oh yeah.
So I still think Cincinnati makes the playoffs. Yeah. I do. So those are. I mean, it was a crazy weekend again. And then the Packers.
That was a comeback for the ages.
They saved their season.
They did.
Like that game right there is a game that you go, oh yeah, they're not going to make they're done. They're
cooked.
They're cooked. No, they still have a chance because right now the Packers in the playoffs they're the 9th seed right now at 4-6. I mean, the teams ahead of them are the Commanders and the 49ers.
Teams that you could easily see sliding out because the Niners, it always kind of depends.
If they lose that game, they're 3-7 instead of 4-6, and they are probably
I mean, at 3-7, you're slumming it with the likes of Carolina, New Orleans, and Chicago.
Yeah. So that was huge.
No, it's a big win. It was a massive win. Great comeback win for the Packers.
Yeah. For our Survivor picks, Dan and I move on to week number, was this 10 or 11 coming up? 11.
Week 11.
Week 11, I went with Kansas City. Dan went with the New York Football Giants. So I've never been this far along. Like, I've never made it to week 11.
Neither have I.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you didn't even make it to week 7. So,
yeah. Dan avoided the curse of playing the Texans.
You didn't even make it to week 6.
Yeah. Dan avoided the curse of playing the Texans. I'm proud of him.
So
they still made it close, though.
Yeah.
They made him sweat.
So keep on moving on for our picks. Coming up, everyone loves the list in the 1 o'clock hour. Today is National Guacamole Day. Yay or nay on the guac?
Not a guac guy.
I like guac, but it's National Guac Day, so we're gonna go with best dips. I like to dip a chip with guacamole. We'll get to that. We'll also hear from Jerick McKinney, filled in for Andy Reid. We'll talk also more NFL coming up. Two here on Mic'd Up. Thank you so much for joining us. Jake Von Fulton Caster with you on this Monday, a victory Monday. We'll get to more KU K-State football coming up in the 2 o'clock hour. Little overreaction, proper reaction as well. Everyone loves the list. Our favorite dips. That's right. Favorite dips. I love dip. I'm a big dip guy. Doesn't have to be, chips. It can be others.
Just something with which the goal is to dip something into the thing.
Thing into the thing, huh?
That's the word I'm going to use here.
Okay.
I could probably have worded that a lot better.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Thing into the thing. Dipping the thing into the thing. Okay. There we go.
A chip, piece of pita bread.
Yeah. Indeed.
Cracker.
A lot of different dips.
Cheese it. French fry.
French fry. I suppose, is ketchup a dip?
No, it's not where I was going with it. I wouldn't call ketchup a dip. It's a condiment.
What are you dipping a fry into?
You can dip fry into like a cheese sauce. A little bit of cheese.
So that's cheese, not a dip.
Well, you'd have to get something like queso to get really the dip level.
Okay. All right. There you go. So your dip.
I was just trying to run through some stuff there.
Well, you were running it with really no direction.
Yeah, that's classic. That's what I do. I just start going and we'll fight it eventually.
You didn't have a whole lot there. Jerick McKinnon met with the media today instead of Andy Reid. So we'll hear from Jet coming up here at the bottom of the hour. But as always, hit us up on our Big O Tires text line, 785-272-9429. Also, you can hit us up on our YouTube page. Go to youtube.com and search Sports on 580. Very simple, very easy. The one thing that I keep on going back to is the offseason. The Kansas City Chiefs decided to move on from their wide receiver, Tyreek Hill. Highest paid wide receiver in the history of the game, Tyreek Hill. A lot of people were going, I don't know, Chiefs are going to be able to move the ball without Tyreek Hill. We are now going to get to the question for the Kansas City Chiefs that many people asked about the New England Patriots. Was it Belichick or was it Brady? Was it Belichick or was it Brady? A lot of people thought, is it Tyreek Hill or is it Patrick Mahomes? Is it Tyreek Hill or Patrick Mahomes? Well,
one obviously has to be making the other.
Well, it turns out that they are both excellent without them. So now we know that. When you look at Tyreek Hill, he is leading the NFL in yards he's already got 1,100 yards. 1,100 yards. It's incredible as of right now. Now, Justin Jefferson has only played in 9 games and is 80 yards behind. So Justin Jefferson technically leads in yards per game. But Tyreek Hill's had an amazing year. And I told you here on this show, I said, Tyreek Hill is going to have success because he has a skill set that no one else in the NFL has at his level, and that's his speed. I knew Tyreek Hill was going to have a monster year in Miami because he's too fast not to. To me, the question of, was it Mahomes or was it Hill and all that kind of stuff, the back and forth, like the Brady versus Belichick. We're going to get to that level too, Andy Reid or Patrick Mahomes. I think that one is easier to determine that Andy Reid had so much success without Patrick Mahomes going to a Super Bowl, leading the Chiefs to plenty of wins without Patrick Mahomes, that with Patrick Mahomes, we see what is the next level. Like you go from, like choice beef to prime to, Kobe. That's what Patrick Mahomes has elevated the Chiefs. So I don't think you're ever going to have that. Well, is it Mahomes or is it Reid? I think you can kind of understand that Reid is excellent, but with Mahomes, it put him over the top. So that shows you how good Mahomes is. But with how good Patrick Mahomes has been, and Patrick Mahomes right now, he's almost thrown for 3,000 yards, and he's played in 9 games. I mean, that's absurd. He's thrown for 326 yards. He's got 25 touchdowns, and he's on pace for almost 50 touchdowns this year. He's got 7 interceptions, and we know of those 7, 2 of them are from tip passes, and that were not his fault, including, last week when Travis Kelce So he's got 7 interceptions on the year. He is playing some of his best football, and you could argue his best football, throwing the football 67% completion percentage for almost 3,000 yards. So I'm not going to argue about one over the other. To me, the more interesting aspect for that argument, and the reason I bring this up is the question will be, in my mind, now that we've got 9 games in for both Tyreek Hill and for Patrick Mahomes, and that is the Travis Kelce equation. Was it Tyreek Hill or was it Travis Kelce? Because Travis Kelce right now leads the NFL in touchdowns with 8. He's tied with Devontae Adams. They both had a touchdown. But Travis Kelce right now has 740 yards receiving, number 1 by a tight end by over 200 yards. Leads the league in touchdowns with 8. He's also second in the NFL in first downs. And believe it or not, this is kind of wild to think about. He's got over 300 yards after the catch. I'm more interested in, was it Travis Kelce or was it Tyreek Hill? Who helped who the most? Now, it shows right now that both of them are just as good as we originally thought, because Tyreek Hill is doing exactly the same thing he's done in Kansas City. He's doing it in Miami. Oh, no, without Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce's not going to get open. Yeah, about that. Travis Kelce right now is on pace for his second best season in his career. And the more I look at just how dynamic Travis Kelce was, 6 receptions, 81 yards, a touchdown, long of 46, caught 5 more first downs. I mean, his last 3 games, his worst game was the game against Jacksonville at 81 yards. I think Travis Kelce was the foundation. But look, in 15 years, when everybody is gone and is retired, looking back just at the run that in 2018, when Kelce was incredible and Hill was incredible and Mahomes was nuts, like, that's going to go down as, to me, holy cow, there were 3 Hall of Famers for a 3-year stretch for the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, it really is incredible just how you're witnessing the greatest tight end of all time. I think Travis Kelce has surpassed Gronk as the greatest tight end. I think he blew by Tony Gonzalez. I know Tony Gonzalez right now has, the more receptions and more touchdowns and more yards and everything, because he played until he was 38. But I think overall right now, Travis Kelce is a better tight end. He's at a more dominant stretch. And I know eras matter and all that kind of stuff. But watching Travis Kelce in the game yesterday, and then watching Tua throw it to Tyreek Hill, who was just open all over the damn place, I am not stunned that both of them are just that good without each other. Because I think Tyreek Hill is one of the most unique wide receivers to ever play the game. And we are seeing Patrick Mahomes, what he has done, passing every single statistical record. What is it? The most recent one was touchdown passes in his first 75 games. And he broke the record in 73 games. I'm not stunned at this, but it just shows you that They're two of the most elite level players that we have seen in the last 15 years.
Yeah, it's tremendous what really all three of them. And my other part is this. It's sometimes hard to really appreciate what you have and what you're witnessing until after it's over, which is really unfortunate. It's unfortunate that sometimes it's that way, because then you really wish you would have taken some things a little bit differently and really, really appreciated it while you're watching it. Truly, the Chiefs for a stretch of time had three bona fide Hall of Famers on their team running their offense.
Mm-hmm.
With Hill, with Mahomes, with Kelsey. Watching Travis Kelsey, I will hear some arguments for other tight ends as of now. If you want to say, Tony Gonzalez for whatever reason is the best.
I don't even think he's in the. I think it's him and Gronk. That's
I
it.
know. I understand. If you want to say between Trav and Gronk, I will hear your arguments. I will hear them. But to me, when it is all said and done, and when Trav continues his career and puts up more numbers, it will be undisputed that the greatest tight end to ever play the game of football is going to be Travis Kelsey. And I don't know when that moniker will ever be challenged. If ever challenged. We never know when those will be challenged. Tyreek Hill is the most dynamic wide receiver to ever play the game.
I think that one is him and Randy. I think
him and Randy can kind of be tied. They did it in different ways, I think, because Randy was never, the shiftiness that Tyreek is and the ability, but there's never been a better catcher of a football in spectacular ways than Randy Moss. But you watch these guys and how great they were, and to me, it's great we're getting to see that all these guys can be better without certain things. I mean, Travis has put up numbers with Alex Smith. You can't give me Trav's only good because of Mahomes. Trav was putting up numbers with Alex Smith as his QB. Like, his stretch of numbers started before 2018. Mahomes has been able to make plays even when his other guys, there have been games where Travis Kelsey's been shut down and Patrick Mahomes has still put up numbers. And we're seeing what Tyreek Hill's doing in Miami with Tua Tagovailoa. I think at this point, we have to work on getting past these does one guy make another guy better thing and really just start appreciating how great these three football players are. And I know we're still going to have the debates and the conversations about, did some make someone better? And they're worth it. They're worth asking. It was a worthwhile question. Do you think, I think more of how Tyreek would do without Mahomes than Mahomes without Hill? But it's refreshing to see that as we have these conversations. Truly, these guys are great just because they are great. They are not schemed up to be great. Tyreek Hill is not schemed up to be one of the greatest wide receivers in the game. He just truly is. With the athleticism and skill set he has, he is just amazing and astounding. Same goes for Mahomes, which is the way he can play football. He's great no matter what. And I do think it's nice that we're getting to get such a definitive answer to that offseason question. Because this isn't like we could have a billion whatabouts and what ifs sneaking in there. No, it's plain as day. Neither of them needed each other, but they did make each other better because it helps when one Hall of Famer is thrown to another Hall of Famer. But we have kind of gotten the finish to the question of, did one need the other? No, they're just both incredibly great players. And it's nice to see that just they are getting a lot of extra recognition because you can't, for neither of them, you can weigh them down with one is better because of the other question anymore. It's like Tyreek Hill's going to get all the respect he should fully garner because he's leading the NFL in numerous receiving categories with Tua Tagovailoa as his quarterback.
I think Tua has benefited more so from Tyreek than obviously the opposite. And I think it helps that you've got Jalen Waddle there as well. I mean,
that helps. Having Jalen Waddle on the other side,
having
another speed burner with you helps.
Yeah, Miami is going to have to outscore people. And that's what they're doing right now. Their offense is absolutely humming right now. Yeah. It really, really is. The Kansas City Royals have named their manager, or excuse me, their bench coach.
They have.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I had no idea. Everybody's saying like this is oh yeah, Paul Hoover. Man, nobody knows who Paul Hoover is.
I love it. Just know it. So here's the thing. There's a particular reason anyone can at least try and even pretend to know Paul Hoover is and be happy about it. Paul Hoover has been the major league field coordinator for Tampa Bay for the past several years. So basically, another Tampa Bay Ray mind is coming with Matt Quatrero and will be Matt Quatrero's right-hand man. So even if you don't know who Paul Hoover is, there's a benefit of being proud about this because that's going to be another forward-thinking analytical mind, which gives you at least more of an idea of this team's going to the new age, folks. They are going full bore into the new age of baseball, which
is awful.
Long time coming.
Yeah. Gut. You got to go with your gut. Coming up next, it is National Guacamole Day. Guacamole is a great dip. Love guacamole. Very good. Does it make my top 4? Everyone loves the list. Best dips coming up next. Everyone loves the list on a Victory Monday, with it being National Guacamole Day. Let's get to our favorite dips. Love a good dip.
Do love a good dip. I'm with you here.
What do you got?
Number 4 for me, salsa. Salsa's a fantastic dip. It's a great choice. It's never going to blow you away, but you will never turn it down if it's at your table.
Number 4 for me. I remember the very first time I had this dip.
Okay.
My best friend's mom. I called it Nancy dip.
Okay.
Love it. It's the classic corn dip.
Okay.
It's called crack corn dip.
Yeah.
Love it. You use the big Frito scoop as the
the vessel.
Yeah. Vessel?
I don't know. There's not a better way to word it sometimes.
But use the big Frito scoop corn dip. Love it.
Corn dip's a good call.
So good.
Number 3 for me. Some people don't like this. I do. A good spinach artichoke dip. I love a good spin dip.
We differ there.
That's fine.
We differ there. My number 3 is salsa, but it's got to be not. I don't like super chunky salsa.
Okay.
I don't want to be.
It's got to be a little smoother.
It needs to be not chunky. Like if it's the small chunk.
Yeah, I feel you.
Then I don't want to be dipping my tortilla chip, into just essentially chopped up tomatoes.
I'm with you. Yeah, there's got to be right consistency too.
Yeah, I don't like big giant pepper chunks. No, I need a lot smaller minced diced. Type of stuff.
Need to get it out there.
Yeah.
Number 2 for me, a good smoked salmon dip. They're great with Ritz crackers. Fantastic.
Smoked?
Yeah, smoked salmon.
Not salmon.
Smoked salmon.
So it can't be just regular salmon dip.
Nah, it needs to be smoked salmon dip.
I don't think you could tell the difference.
Maybe you couldn't.
We might have to try that out.
I've tried it out.
My number 2, a 7-layer dip.
Oh, okay. That's a classic right there.
Yeah, I'm going with I love a good 7-layer dip.
Okay.
Really good. Minus the olives. So if there's olives there, then make it a 6-layer dip.
That's fair. That's fair.
I like olives.
Number 1 for me is very simple. It is queso, and it has no rival. Queso is the greatest dip ever made.
See, I'm going to go more specific. Number 1 for me, white queso.
Fair. That's fair.
I prefer a white queso over the orange or yellow queso.
Over the traditional yellow queso. You're more of a queso blanco guy.
I am. White queso for me. Number 1. I'm with you there. Love a good white queso. Coming up, we're going to hear from Jerick McKinnon, and then we'll talk about all things KU and K-State. To the beat down in Waco coming up in the 2:00 hour. A little overreaction, proper reaction as well on this Victory Monday. Do want to from the Twitter world. I need to broaden my dip horizons. Here's the thing. I'm not against new dips. I'm not. I am with our tweeter. I am. But I'm good with my current dips. I'm not going to search out new dips, you know? Like when you go to a restaurant,
yeah,
I never really go too rogue when I go to a restaurant and get food because I don't want to risk ordering something
you're not gonna like
that I'm not gonna like, and now I'm stuck with like $17 or $15 down the drain because I don't like it. You know?
Yeah.
So that's why I if like I go to a friend's house or I go to a party or something like that, and they've got different dips and they look appeasing, I will give them a try. But right now, I'm 38. I know what I like. I'm not against it. I'm not like my 2.5-year-old where I'm like, hey, man, try the dip, dude. You know, because right now we are at nothing but mac and cheese. So
yeah.
I'm like, I'm good. I like my white queso. I like my 7-layer. I'm not a fan of spinach dip. Don't like it. Hummus. Get that out of here. Hummus. You a hummus guy?
I'll eat it on occasion. It's not like one of my favorite things, but I don't hate it.
Don't hate it? Yeah, I don't like it.
There are times I'm like, you know what? Some hummus and some pita bread does sound good.
Yeah, no.
It's not often, but every once in a while.
Yeah. So
No,
I'm not going to expand just for the sake of expansion.
Yeah, no. So for me, my thing is I will never judge anyone for not wanting to expand when they're buying food like out to eat. Because you're spending money, you want to make sure you get what you like for your money. That's why, like, when I go eat places, once I've been to a place, I might never ever change the order ever again. And that seems a little odd, but I know I'm gonna get it. I know I'm gonna like it, and it's gonna be worth the money I spend. But like,
just go safe.
Yeah, it's willing to go safe. If I am like out with people and someone offers me to try something for free, I will never say no.
Well, yeah, that goes under the premise of I'm never too good for free.
But no, I will try any food at least once, and I'm more willing to try it when I'm not spending money on it. So then if I don't like it, there was no penalty. It's just, I didn't like something. So it's like, I'll try new things. If someone wants to make me a dip I've never had, and I will try that dip, I will enjoy it. First time I'd smoked salmon dip was for free because we made some at the grocery store I worked at.
I try that. I do. I like me a seafood
We
dip.
made some at the grocery store I worked at. I'd never had it. My boss was like, hey, you want to try this? I was like, sure. Handed me a Ritz cracker. I dipped it in there. It was delicious. So now I buy it. Simple as that.
I don't buy a lot of dips.
I don't as well. The most thing I buy is queso. I'll have queso to keep around the house to just randomly eat some chips and cheese.
Queso? You don't make the queso?
I don't have time to make queso. And by that, I mean, I'm too lazy.
Okay. I'm glad that's you changed that.
By not every time, I am way too lazy.
I know your schedule.
Yes, you
ain't
do.
That busy to take some cheese, put some Rotel together, and make it.
Nah, at some point, I like if I had more of a drive and thought it would be that much better than what I buy from the store for a very moderate price.
Yeah, see,
the stuff I buy from the store is good enough. I'm like, it's good enough, and it doesn't mean I have to put in the work to make it.
I'll make my own queso, and I put hamburger in it. I put like ground beef.
That's a good call
to make it a little bit more. Yeah, that's good stuff. We normally hear from Andy Reid at this time, but Andy Reid was not available today, so they brought in Jerick McKinnon. We'll hear from Patrick Mahomes coming up on Wednesday, so we're not going to hear from Mahomes. So this is what Jerick McKinnon had to say to the media today.
Hey, Jerick, just curious, why do you think that you and Patrick have had such a knack for the short passing game so far?
I'd probably just say just because of success. Last year towards the end, Pat start, checking down more than he was before. And not just to me, but, just in general. And, it just comes along, in practice with that trust, him knowing where the back is going to be. And, just, it was me, Pop, Clyde, just being available and, making positive gains off of it. So, that's all it is, whatever it takes to keep the chains going. Keep those positive plays and yards going and, come away with scores.
Yeah. Hey, Jerick, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing today?
Good. It seems like you've had a good feel for a passing game, probably since you came into the league. Just wonder, how did you feel like you developed that, that feel you have for the passing game? Brad, I'll have a second question as well.
Like you said, since I came into the league, it's kind of been, the thing how I kind of been used. In Minnesota, I was blessed to, play under Coach North Turner. That was really my introduction into the passing game. So, being able to be in his offense, learn from him and kind of fill space and, just things like that. And then, going to San Fran with Kyle, it's kind of the same simulation, different play calling, but, the same thing. And then coming here with Coach Reid and, just keep piggybacking off of each other. So, I probably just, contributed to all, 3 of my coaches that I've had. And, how to use me. And, of course, you're being used in a certain role, you get comfortable and develop things of that nature in that role. So that's all I would say. I would just say it's credited to the coaches that I've had and, being in those systems and, learning the playbook and, being able to, I guess, not dictate, but, fill space and, become available for the quarterback.
Okay. Now you were a quarterback in college. I know you didn't throw the ball a lot there, but do you feel like that helped you once you got to the NFL in terms of the passing game?
Yeah, definitely. That's not a traditional offense. That's a true option. But as far as understanding defenses and things of that nature, definitely, playing quarterback in college definitely helped me come into the league. Defense is definitely more complex in the league than college. and coverages as well. But just game planning in that role and knowing what everybody's doing and knowing defenses and things like that definitely has helped me.
Hey, Jarek. The offense this year has been fun to watch when all of you guys can score at really any time. 10 different players have caught a pass for you guys this year, yourself included. How much fun is it to be part of this offense where everyone's a threat to score at any time?
It's been a lot of fun. When you got a lot of guys who contribute, you got a lot of guys who, step in and, become new contributors. It's hard for, defensive coordinators to plan for that. And especially when you have success, and, that's the credibility to the coaches, Coach Reed, EB, all the whole coaching staff. And then, Pat, just, dishing the ball out to different guys and, different guys making plays and having success and make it easy on each other. And when you play collectively like as a unit and, you come away with positives, it makes it hard for people to stop.
Hey, Jarek, appreciate you filling in for Coach for us today. I have two questions. My first question, Jarek, is just how much pride do you take in pass protection? And then on a simpler question, just why are you good at it?
You asked me that question, so I know you see me a pass pro.
Uh-huh.
I take a lot of pride in it. It first started, when I came out for the draft and the Senior Bowl, I really didn't know what pass protection was. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've never done it. I've never traditionally played a running back. So, after, taking some L's in the Senior Bowl one-on-ones and then getting into the league and, being a rookie and, going through one-on-ones and, trying to understand, pass protection calls and, going through that whole learning curve and, physically messing up and getting yelled at and, stuff like that. It's something that I definitely took pride in. And, credit to, my running back coach I had when I first got into the league, Curb, he told me, that's one thing that'll keep you around for a long time. You got a lot of great backs. Everybody can, run the ball, things of that nature. But, pass pro is definitely something that's difficult, especially when you got, great linebackers in the league like NFL. So it's definitely something that, I work at, day in, day out. I take pride in it. And, I'm little, so I got little man syndrome when it comes to stuff like that. But it's definitely something that I hone in on and I definitely like. And, it's fun, man. Working with the O-line, man, those guys, they make it easy. And, we go back and forth, man. It's a collective effort.
Hey, Jarek, you've been a starter in the league and you've been part of a running back by committee. When you're in that committee and, it's a couple of different guys getting the ball, how is the preparation and staying sharp different for you? And how have the three of you guys, even with Ronald, four of you guys, been able to, really make this room work this year?
Like you said, obviously it's different when you're by committee and then a starter. But I'm going on year 9, and you got to approach every game as if you're the starter. That's just got to be your mindset, and that's what makes it easier. Being in the committee. Obviously, it's a share amongst the backs who are in the room, but each and every one of us have to have that mindset that we're preparing as a starter because as you've seen this year, everybody's had their strides, and you never really know. Whose game is going to be. And like I said before, with everybody contributing to the catching game, it's hard to plan. One game might be Pop, one game might be Clyde, one game might be me. But it's definitely been easy for us as a group to hone in those things because we work so good as a collective unit. I said it all throughout camp. We're pushing each other to be better. Not just in camp, but it's something that's continued forward. And I think it's showing, when that person gets their number called, they've risen to the occasion. And it's just a contest to, our coach, Greg Lewis, and then, everybody in the room, knowing the situation and, where the numbers called, being available and being ready to make a play. And it showed.
Hey, Jarek, yesterday, Juju got hurt on that play with the helmets collide. You were right there next to it. One of the first guys to wave the medical crew out there. Can you just take me through emotionally what you're seeing there on the helmet to helmet when you watch the replays and your guy is down on the ground and kind of like, I guess, the deal you guys make with yourselves that you're going to go out there and do this game that something like that can happen on?
It's an unfortunate play. And, Pat said it out there. all through training camp, they're giving us these tutorials and videos, the new rules and what they're trying to take away from the game and, things of that nature. So, I feel like on that part, the refs, they got to do their job as well. But, for whatever reason, we didn't get the penalty, whatever, we can't change it now. But, you never want to see not just your teammate, but anybody, that down on the field in that type of form of fashion. So, I think everybody took that to heart on our team. Juju, he's a new guy, but, the energy that he's brought, the plays that he's made, coming in year one, different offense, and just, being a spark for us and being the player that he is, everybody definitely took, Juju's one of the leaders, man. He's outspoken, every day, he's clowning, but he comes to work. So he definitely has that respect amongst everybody in the building. So to see him down like that is something that, we definitely didn't want to see. So, in that moment, all we could do was, give him help and make sure that he was good. And then, after that, you kind of feel, we already was playing with a chip on our shoulders, but you could feel the wave take another leap, like, all right, that's what this is. All right, we got to come together and we got to really battle for real now. So, that's all it was. But, he's doing better. And, I'm glad that it wasn't, something more serious than what it was.
Hey, appreciate the time here. I would just ask how you evaluate Isaiah's growth kind of from St. Joe up to kind of getting the starting touches these last few games.
Well, I said it back in camp, that, his work ethic and, what he was able to bring as a player stood out. And, like I said before, his number's been called and it's starting to come to fruition for him. He works extremely hard and, seeing him come in young and, being a rookie, going through those rookie learning curves, trying to figure it out, and then up to now, piecing it together and putting it into play, like I said, it's been amazing, man. It's a contest to, the type of player he is, the type of person he is, how he works, and all that stuff accumulated into one. And, everybody's happy to see him have some success. And, like I told him, it's just the beginning, man. You know what you could do. Everybody in the building know what you could do. So it's just about, having it and then staying consistent with it. So, we definitely expecting a lot of big things from him.
That is what Jerick McKinnon had to say as he met with the media earlier today. We'll get a quick timeout. Coming up next, we'll finish off this 1 o'clock hour. We'll get to K-State's beatdown win. And we don't have a quarterback controversy or competition. We'll get to that coming up in the 2 o'clock hour. We might get snow tonight. Well, that's gross.
That's one man's opinion.
Hold on a second. Time out. Mr. I'm so cold on Saturday down in Joplin.
It was a little chilly.
You cannot say I like the cold, I like snow. That is one man's opinion. And then whine and cry about how cold it is when we're on the road somewhere in said cold.
Here's what I'll say. My complaints were my feet were frozen ice blocks you're sitting on concrete in a place with no heat. That's not a fun feeling. The rest of it wasn't too bad. You and Fletcher were complaining more than I was.
That's because I don't like the cold.
I know, and I'm not yelling at you for it. I will openly say yes. I was complaining about my feet because they were ice blocks because I was staying on concrete in cold weather and I did not have thick socks on. That's my fault. I did not prepare. That's my fault. I'll own up on that one. The rest of the cold, I repeatedly said, it's not too bad. I repeatedly, while you guys were complaining, I was like, it's not too bad. Because I was prepared.
No, you weren't, because you said your feet were cold. You were whining about
I was
the cold.
mostly prepared. I will admit, I did not prepare for my feet.
You were going to use my jacket.
I was going to use an extra coat, and I thanked you for that. And then while we were up in the press box,
we
were in the press box, though, I barely used your jacket. I had that prepared if I had to go down to the sideline. Because I didn't anticipate the wind being as bad as it was.
Yeah,
that's on me. And I will take that L. That I should have looked into the wind more, because biting wind in the cold is truly bad.
Hell yeah, it was coming from the north.
It was, and you got to prepare for that. I wasn't prepared for that. That would have been on me.
Man,
when I'm prepared for it, though,
if it snows tonight or tomorrow, now we're on like the edge of it. It's more towards Kansas City.
We'll get like a small little,
but man,
little dust.
Snow before Thanksgiving? No.
Why?
No. Snow after Thanksgiving? No problem. That means it's the end of November. We're talking December, January, February. I'm all right with the snow. I get it. I live in a state that has all four seasons. I have no problem with that. It's the snow in March or April or early November that I have a problem with. That I draw the line. Get out of here. Meaning the snow. Meaning Mother Nature. But I just saw that snow potentially.
Yeah. It's that time of year.
Awful.
It's great.
No, terrible playing in that. All the Washburn guys, they take off their helmet. They got the
everyone's got their helmets on Saturday. And I mean, they're just
great
covered.
Idea. Awesome to play in the snow. Awesome to play in the cold. Said nobody ever. Except for O-linemen, but they're weird.
Yeah, O-linemen are just built different.
And we've established that.
Yeah, time and time again.
That and that's they're just the offensive linemen that I played with, they're fantastic people. We've talked to that a lot. This is a very pro offensive lineman show.
Yeah, we love the O-linemen.
They are fun to be around.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they really are. So that is not a knock towards the big uglies up front. They are fantastic. There will be no slander towards the O-lineman.
Yeah, there's no offensive lineman slander around here.
Absolutely not. Coming up, we will get to K-State and that beatdown in Waco. And is that a more impressive win than what they did against Oklahoma State? We'll get to that coming up. It is the final hour of 580 Sports, or excuse me, of Mic'd Up here on this Victory Monday edition. Thank you so much for joining us. Jake and Fulton caster with you. We'll get to a little overreaction, proper reaction after the NFL. Fun and exciting slate of games on Sunday. The NFL delivers every single time. Even when the games are maybe not as entertaining, you still are going to be glued to your television. So we'll get to that coming up here in just a little bit. We'll also talk a little Chiefs versus the Jaguars. But there is no quarterback controversy. If you wanted to say yes after the game against TCU, I could understand it. But then you saw what happened against Oklahoma State. And you said, man, okay, all right. But we've got now 3 games. And Will Howard, Dan Marino, he needs to start the rest of the way. The 31-3 win over Baylor was more impressive than the win against Oklahoma State because Baylor had the majority of their guys healthy. It's on the road. And I think Baylor's a better team than Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State ranked 9th at the time. This is why ranking sometimes is a little bit meaningless. But Oklahoma State with a shell of themselves, Spencer Sanders, was not going to beat Kansas State at home. What you saw on Saturday in Waco, it was, and to me, it is not a coincidence that when Will Howard came in, the offense started to move the football. 31-3, that was a beatdown, an absolute beatdown of Baylor. You held Baylor out of the end zone. You held Baylor's running attack to absolutely nothing. 103 yards on 23 attempts. Throwing the football, just a shade over 50% completion. You pick off Shapen twice. This was an absolute destruction of Baylor. This was a terrific performance by Kansas State. Defensively, excellent. The secondary, very good. Linebackers, very good. They played just solid all the way around against Baylor on defense. But offensively, some people think you got to run it to bring everybody down. And then the run opens up the pass. I am very strongly the pass opens up the run guy. Because what happens is no one wants to get beat deep in chunk yardage. And so you put your safeties back. That forces your safeties to come up a little bit. It forces your safeties to go back. Now you got a lot more room to run. It ain't a secret that the best running games here recently for Kansas State were when Will Howard was throwing the football and Deuce Vaughn had a lot more room to run. I like Adrian Martinez. I think he is the consummate teammate. Every time that we've talked to him, he has been terrific. He is what Kansas State needed in August and in the offseason, because you didn't know that this Will Howard was going to show up. But right now, Will Howard is playing some of the best football in the Big 12. I get it. Small sample size, 3 games. Fully understand. He has thrown 84 passes. I get it. But in those 3 games, he's completing 63% of his passes. He's got 9 touchdowns to 1 interception. And that interception was a game that they were trailing by 14 against TCU, and he's just trying to do whatever the hell he can. He's running it when he needs to. He has the ability to. But in the game against Baylor, he comes in as a bullpen guy. 19 of 27 for almost 200 yards. That's 70% completion, 3 touchdowns. And he's throwing perfect passes. I mean, we're talking back shoulder throw, perfect, and send it going up and get it. By the way, I didn't have, Ben catching 2 touchdowns. But the offense has looked different under Will Howard. It has. You to me, can lose your job due to injury if you are not a bona fide, legitimate guy going in. Deuce Vaughn gets hurt in week 3. DJ Giddens starts running for 100 yards a pop. I'm going back to Deuce Vaughn because Deuce Vaughn is special.
There's a body of work to show that he is an otherworldly stud.
Deuce Vaughn is special. He is a game changer. Adrian Martinez, to me, he is not special. He is not a game changer. So I am going to ride the hot hand. Now, this makes it a lot easier of a decision for me because Adrian Martinez isn't going to be here next year. If Adrian Martinez was a junior, we would have this would be a lot tougher of a decision in my mind. In my mind, it would be harder because now you go, gosh, man, what kind of message does this send to other players? What message does this send to other team, to other position groups and to other coaches? Gosh, if I get hurt, maybe I'm going to play a little hesitant. I don't want to get hurt because if I get hurt, I might lose my job, that type of thing. But unless you are a true difference maker, you can lose your job due to injury. Adrian Martinez is not going to be back next year. He was a mercenary. He's a 1-year guy. He was Adrian Martinez, like we all thought, was the 1-year stopgap between Skyler Howard and then Avery Johnson. That is what you were hoping for. Hey, what are we going to do now, especially when Avery Johnson committed? Now, I understand that Adrian Martinez committed before Avery Johnson, committed to K-State. I understand that. But that's the whole thought process, right? Right?
Yeah.
That's what we were just thought. Oh, we can't have Will Howard because Will Howard was not very good his true freshman year. And then last year, we thought, hey, this works out perfectly. You got Adrian Martinez, played at Nebraska, had some turnover issues, but it was more so because his team was terrible. And for the first 9 games of the year, that's proven true. He hadn't turned the ball over. He's only thrown 1 interception. But the proof is in the pudding. He's thrown 9 touchdowns to 1 interception. I know QBR is not a great overall statistic. Do you agree with that, Fulton?
It's not perfect.
I think it's better than passer rating.
It's definitely better than passer rating. Passer rating is very outdated. If you're going to go for one of those 2 statistics, you go for QBR.
So, and it's not perfect, just like not any stat is just
all stats have their flaws. That's why you use a bunch of them in conjunction together.
Okay, so let's go with QBR. Do you know what Will Howard's QBR is in 3 games? Don't look it up.
I'm not going to look it up. I'm going to say it's somewhere in the 70s.
Okay, in the 70s.
That'd be my guess, somewhere in the 70s.
Right. Just to let you know, it's 3 games. I get it. It's 3 games. He's thrown 90 passes. Understandable. Now, these 90 passes are not against South Dakota.
They're against real football teams.
South Dakota, Missouri, not against, it's against TCU, Oklahoma State, and Baylor, right? 3 teams that K-State has had trouble beating. To give you an idea, C.J. Stroud leads college football with a 90.9 QBR. Hendon Hooker of Tennessee, 90.2. Bo Nix of Oregon, 89. Caleb Williams of USC, 84. Just give you an idea of who are some of the better ones. Let's see here. Let's find out the best Big 12 quarterback. Spencer Sanders, 77.6. By the way, 77.6, that's 15th. Okay. No other Big 12 quarterback is in there. I understand it is a small sample size, but Will Howard's QBR is 92. You said 70, right?
That's right. Yeah.
92. In these 3 games, he's CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
Love you, Adrian Martinez. I do. You are not Deuce Vaughn. You are not Bijan Robinson. You are not, who's the TCU wide receiver? Johnson.
Quentin Johnson.
Right? You're not, you weren't Skylar Thompson, okay? Skylar gets hurt. Will Howard comes in for 3 weeks, lights it up. I'm going back to Skylar. I'm sorry. And what makes it even more interesting is that they want to redshirt Will Howard. That's like the whole plan. Let's redshirt
That was the plan,
Will
yeah.
Howard. We'll use the redshirt rule, right? Oh, he's not going to get hurt for 4 games. We'll be good. He's played in 3 games. He's got 1 more game.
Yeah.
You are at Big 12 title game aspirations. If you beat West Virginia and Country Roads and you beat KU, which, by the way, will be a 7 o'clock kickoff on Big Fox.
That's primetime Big Fox Sunflower Show now.
Wow.
Whole country going to watch that.
That's incredible. You beat those 2 teams. You are going to play TCU in Dallas for the Big 12 title game. Do you think K-State can beat TCU in Dallas for a Big 12 title?
Yes.
Then Will Howard starts the rest of the year until he blows up, until the honeymoon phase is
Till
over.
the proverbial wheels fall off.
Will, love you, bud. But, man, you can go down in K-State lore here. Damn the red shirt. You played 2 more games. You now have played in 5 games. Big 12 title game is 6. Bowl game is 7. I know that's half a season. Does this stink that he's not going to get another year? But, man, you got a chance to be the dude. And if I am Chris Kleiman, you're really going to potentially sacrifice a Big 12 title game spot and championship because, well, we want to redshirt our quarterback. Now, he said in the postgame, we've got a quarterback situation. I mean, he has said that. I don't think you do. Like
You only have a quarterback controversy or a quarterback issue if you are desperate to hang on to Will Howard's red shirt.
No, there's no desperate situation because Will Howard is was he a junior right now?
He's a junior.
He can come back next year.
I know.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm with you, but here's what I'm saying. If you're Chris Kleiman and you say those words, you have the thought of like, man, we have a little bit of quarterback situation here. The only reason you say those words is if you are desperate to hang on to Will Howard's red shirt. If we're going by on-field performance and the way the football team looks with either guy at the helm, this is no disrespect to Adrian Martinez. No. He has played his tail off, and he is a good football player. The team has looked better with Will Howard under center. Words I never thought I'd say. But they do. Because for all the things Adrian Martinez brings you with his legs, and he does. He is a great runner. 1, his health is a problem. And that is to a level, no fault of his own. You can't control if your body's going to break down on you. And I will never hold that against a guy if their body betrays them. Like that's not on you. That is you just can't hold up. Will Howard's ability to throw the football is superior than Adrian Martinez's. And we've seen it. And it opens up the offense in more ways than Will Howard's arm opens up the offense more than Adrian Martinez's legs.
Or his arm.
That's the question. But if you think about what is their greatest asset for each of them. For Will Howard, he can sling that rock.
Right.
Apparently.
Yeah,
Apparently he can.
Apparently.
Adrian Martinez, the thing has always been, well, he's such a great runner. He's a tough runner. You can run him 20 times a game, and it runs for $160. So those are the two things you're comparing here. Which one is better for your offense? And it's Will Howard's ability to throw, because Deuce Vaughn and DJ Giddens can handle the rushing load.
From the Big O Tires text line, and our friends from Go Powercat. This is from the 785. Heard from Go Powercat, our good friend, good old Fitz. Martinez is out 4 to 6 weeks with an ankle and leg injury. Also, if Adrian is hurt, then this is all a moot point. It's not a moot point because if he was healthy, what decision would he make? In this situation, to me, Chris Kleiman gets bailed out. He's bailed out because he has no decision to make, and it makes it a very simple decision. I'm going to go with Will Howard. Now, it's the same thing we talked about in the TCU. You cannot run Will Howard, especially if Adrian Martinez is out, as GoPowerCat.com is saying, because you can't lose Will Howard. You can't. Also, from the Big O Tires text line, I wanted Howard to redshirt, but too late for that.
It's technically not too late. It is not too late.
Well,
again, I understand what our feelings are. It is not too late if you wanted to pull that trigger.
No. If I'm under the premise if Adrian Martinez can't go, then it is too late.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Because you ain't starting Jake Rubley with what you have going on.
Exactly. So, that's why I mean, if I'm Chris Kleiman, hey, 18, you're in. Easy decision there. And if Adrian Martinez is out, I feel awful for him. It stinks. He is a big reason why K-State is sitting where they're at. And so the offense with Will Howard has looked fantastic. It really, that win over Baylor, 31-3. Chris Kleiman has never beaten Baylor, and they go down to Waco in a monster game. That might be the biggest win in terms of the date that they won it in Chris Kleiman's history at K-State. Like, hear me out. The Oklahoma games, those have been the best wins, but those wins were middle of October. They always seem to play Oklahoma like the first game of Big 12, the Big 12 slate.
They were big wins in the opponent you played, but they ended up not mattering.
Yeah, correct. Like the rest of the Kleiman's first year, they lost to West Virginia and Texas in huge opportunities. The year after that, it was the COVID year. They won their first, lost the first game to Arkansas State, won the next 4. Then they struggled after that. Last year, they had a chance to win some big key games. They didn't. This year, you lost to TCU. Understandable. They're undefeated. They shut down Bijan Robinson. And I know the final score was 17-10. It was really 17-3 because Texas defense got a big play and made it semi-game, but then they just ran it down their throat. TCU's good, and you had Murphy's Law against you, right?
Mm-hmm.
The one game that you slipped up on was Texas. You should have won that game.
Mm-hmm.
You bounce back. You win this game. You had to beat Baylor. Baylor controlled their own destiny because Baylor played K-State and TCU and Texas the rest of the way. Like, you could really argue that is the most important win for Chris Kleiman because they lost the bowl game. If you're big into bowl games, they lost it to Navy, which, again, don't play the service academies if you can. It's unfortunate they had to play Navy in the bowl game. But in terms of setting what was on the line, it supersedes the Texas game because, okay, you could lose to Texas. You still had some outs, right?
Mm-hmm.
You still had an out where TCU beats Texas, you and the rest of it. If you lose this one, you're done. You're not going to the Big 12 title game. Now, because you won this one, you can even go to the Big 12 title game if you lose one of these next 2 games, as barring Baylor and Texas lose a game. If KU beats Texas and Baylor loses,
You're good.
K-State's in, like, KU beats Texas, which would be epic.
I'll take it.
That would be awesome. Back-to-back years beating Texas, that would be sweet. And then Baylor loses. Who does Baylor play?
They play TCU this week.
Then, I mean, that would really ruin my whole storyline for the
No, destroy your storyline.
the Sunflower Showdown.
Mhm.
But I would rather that happen. I would rather KU beat Texas than KU and K-State have to play each other for K-State to go to the Big 12 title game. I do. Does that make you feel better? I would rather KU beat Texas than have the storyline where all K-State has to do is beat KU to go to the Big 12 title game. See? Look at that. I'm not just about the situation for the rivalry.
I'm proud of you. That's growth.
Well, I just think
That's growth.
I think the better storyline in that situation is
Texas has lost back-to-back games to KU.
yeah. That'd be awesome.
That's not good for the Longhorns if that happens, but it would be hilarious. No, K-State is in the driver's seat for the rest of their destiny still. And they're just at the point, because I get kind of the idea with this redshirting of Will Howard. I got at the beginning of the year. You wanted to make sure you had some stability from when Avery Johnson comes in case he's not ready to be a true freshman starting quarterback. You can still have that if you let Will play the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Because you get him as a senior.
Yeah. He's going to be
And
back
also,
next
he
year.
technically still has a COVID year.
No,
Or is that not applied to him since his freshman season was COVID?
The COVID year, I believe, counted. Basketball, the COVID year didn't count. Like I know.
So basketball gets the COVID year back.
Yes.
Football players never got the COVID year back.
Yes,
The COVID years are weird to me.
well, the COVID year in D1 they played it.
Fair.
You know, like that's why it was different. Like the reason I mentioned this is I believe that's the case. I might be mixed
I don't know.
up.
That whole thing legitimately is very iffy on what they count and what they don't.
Yeah.
Either way, no matter what, you have Will Howard next year no matter what.
Yeah.
Because Will Howard ain't going pro after his junior year.
Real quick on the Kansas Jayhawks.
They got outplayed.
Well, not so much. They just couldn't stop the run.
Yeah,
I mean,
they got outplayed.
Texas Tech and the two big turnovers.
Yeah.
To me, the question is, what's going to happen on Saturday? Because
You got two quarterback options, and one of those two, neither of those two is likely
Yeah.
Jason Bean.
I mean, he got smoked in the abdomen, and he what did I see today from Lance Leipold?
He did nothing today, basically.
He pretty much didn't do anything, and so
that usually when you're starting your week off that way, if you're KU, the thing from the game is just they got beat. They had some chances, cursed turnovers. There's not a lot of. This is not for any KU people listening. Obviously, if it was something more important, we'd break down. But just they got outplayed by Tech. That's what happened.
And it wasn't even they got outplayed that bad. I mean, it was 30.
It wasn't that. It wasn't they got the doors blown off them. It's just from start to finish, Tech was just that much ahead, and KU never fully climbed back into it. And crucial turnovers, which I think on the subject of quarterbacks, that I think cements why even if Jason Bean was healthy, when Jason Bean and Jalen Daniels are healthy, you go Jalen Daniels.
Oh, I saw enough in the first 5 weeks.
I did as well, but
Daniels.
that's the idea of also of just like Jason Bean. You saw once again the Texas Tech game some limitations, and now it's either going to be Jalen Daniels or Ethan Vasco on Saturday.
I don't want to speak for you, but I don't think Tech outplayed KU.
It wasn't by like a wide margin.
No,
but I would say of those two teams on that football field on Saturday night, Texas Tech was the better football team.
Oh, okay.
Like in that one game sample size, they were the better football team.
Not a way better football team.
No, not like the gap was like this big. Like maybe this big. Like not a big gap.
I would say it's not a visual medium.
Well, for those on our YouTube page, I have a visual medium up now. For those listening, there's like a very tiny gap.
Yeah. It's 24-21.
Yeah,
and then at the end of the game, it's 33-28. You're down by 5.
No, you had multiple chances and
then your defense hold them to a field goal. You're still only down by a touchdown. You're
down by
2-point conversion,
and then you just can't make the play.
Yeah, so
they They had a chance,
yeah.
but Texas Tech was just that little bit better, which should give you hope if you're a KU fan of you're still at the point where what we wanted of anything this year was no one's really ever blown you out. Like, the Oklahoma game was the closest, but that had so many extenuating circumstances. The same with the Baylor game. Those ones kind of had their own little things around them, but KU still played close to get close to end those games. I mean, Baylor, they didn't let Baylor really score in the second half in that game. Oklahoma, they fight back to make it a 10-point game. So you're still at a point where you've never gotten really blown out this year. And now just the big question for KU this week is what happens at quarterback. And Jalen Daniels is apparently almost 100%. He's not there yet, but Lance Leipold basically said he's almost where he can play free. He can play free and he can play loose and not worry. And if he's not ready to go, it might be Ethan Vasco's season on Saturday, which, I'll be honest, I don't know how that'll go. I truly don't know.
I do. Not well.
I don't know.
It might not matter with the offense because KU's run defense.
Yeah, Bijan Robinson might pull a Samaje Perine.
He might run for 150 yards.
He might run for more than that.
I mean, Tech ran for 276.
Bijan might do that on his own.
Yeah. Shout out, though, to TCU for beating Texas.
Impressive.
West Virginia beating Oklahoma.
Yep.
Now I have a new thing. I hope Oklahoma goes 5-7. Who are their last two games?
That's a good question, Jake.
Oklahoma
State, they have Bedlam this week, and then they have Texas Tech on the road.
They could very well lose both of those games.
If Spencer Sanders is healthy, they will probably lose Bedlam.
Well, Oklahoma State, Spencer Sanders did come in and finish the game.
He did. Fully healthy, able to start the whole game. And they feel comfortable not having Gunnar Gundy or Garrett Rangel play. If it's Spencer Sanders and you're 100% the whole way, give me the Cowboys in that one. And then at Texas Tech, those Red Raiders can play ball.
In Lubbock, they only had one turd in Lubbock all year. Otherwise, they've played very well in Lubbock.
I just want everyone to know we are inches from glory on Oklahoma finishing last in the conference. We're close. We need Iowa State to help out, but we're close.
Oklahoma's, if they lose out, they'd be 2-7. No, Iowa State.
Now the clones have Texas Tech and TCU left, so they're probably not winning another game.
Close though. Close.
They'll at least finish down there with West Virginia.
Yeah. Coming up, a little overreaction, proper reaction on the NFL here on Mic'd Up. Time for a little overreaction, proper reaction. Let's get to the very first one. Overreaction, Buffalo. With what's happened the last 2 weeks and where they're trending with injuries, overreaction, proper reaction, Buffalo will not win the AFC East.
That's a good one. Honestly, I still say it's an overreaction. Because one, the Bills and Dolphins still have one game left to play against each other.
Okay.
So there, Buffalo does a little bit of own destiny controlling by just beat Miami. The other part is I'm still not. I feel like Miami still's got one or two slip-ups left in them. Because that defense isn't perfect. It can still have its faults now and then. And their offense relies so much on just scoring so highly that occasionally that also falters. Now, granted, they're scoring incredibly well. They have 30 points in 3 straight games. But, I mean, you left 27 to the Lions and 32 to the Bears. I feel, and those games were close. I feel like a better team.
The Browns game was not close.
That's why I said the Lions and the Bears.
Oh, okay.
They smoked the Browns.
I thought you said the Browns.
No. They have 27 to the Lions, 32 to the Bears.
Okay.
Those games were unnecessarily close. They did beat the crap out of the Browns. I'll give them that. But those 2 games have something in common as well. They were on the road. They have to go to San Francisco. They got to go to the Chargers, which we make fun of the Chargers all the time.
And you got 3 straight road games.
Yeah. Then they go to Buffalo, and then they still go to New England. Like, I feel like the Dolphins still have a slip up left in there that Buffalo should be fine. Because really, Buffalo also doesn't have a lot of hard games left. Like, they get the Browns this coming game, which should be able to win that game in Buffalo. Go to the Lions, you'll be able to beat the Lions. Go to the Patriots. That'll be interesting. Home against the Jets. We'll see if what the Jets did the first time is for real. Then, of course, they had that Dolphins game. And then at the Bears, at the Bengals, home against the Patriots. Like, the Bills have enough of their own destiny controlling here that I still think they'll win the East. But it's an overreaction, but the smallest of overreactions.
Okay.
Is the proper way that I define it. I think that's the best way to define it.
I can see that.
Overreaction, proper reaction for you, Jake. The AFC West gets one team into the playoffs.
I think that's the proper reaction.
I think I'm with you.
I don't think that what's funny is the AFC West in May, June, July, August was what we all thought the NFC East would be.
And even to an extent, the AFC East.
Or no, I meant the AFC East.
Yeah.
Every team in the AFC East right now is in the playoffs.
And they're all like, if playoffs were to happen today, every member of the AFC East is in.
The Patriots are the 7th seed. The Bills are the 6th seed. The 5 seed are the Jets.
The Dolphins are the 2.
And the Dolphins are the 2 seed.
Like, the AFC East is, and it's true, the AFC East is so much better, and the AFC West is just, because the crux of this question is, do the Chargers get in? And that's such a maybe for me, because the Broncos and Raiders are cooked. Like, after watching what I've been watching,
yes,
the Broncos were 10-0 on the Titans. It's like, man, maybe they'll actually put something together here. And then they completely do nothing.
I saw this. I now have something that I want to have happen more than anything this year.
Oh, boy.
I will laugh, and I will laugh, and I will laugh if the Broncos finish with one of the 3 worst records in the league, and their pick would be pick number. Let's say they finish 3rd. Okay. Let's say Houston is the 1 seed. and or not the 1 seed, but Houston is number 1.
Yeah, worst record, number 1 overall.
And then let's say
right now Raiders would be the number 2 overall pick.
Yeah, let's say the Raiders are 2, and then the Broncos are 3.
Mm-hmm.
The 3rd pick of the draft is going to Seattle.
Yeah.
You could argue if, depending upon where the Broncos finish, like if they have one of the 3 worst records in the league and finish 3rd, that's the worst trade in NFL history.
Yeah.
Because you're giving up not just 1 first-round pick, but 2 first-round picks. And
both top 10 picks.
And they're going to be the 3rd pick overall in this draft, which is quarterback heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And then you decided to pay him extra money.
Mm-hmm.
That is the worst decision maybe in NFL history, but the worst trade in NFL history.
No, I agree. If the Broncos finished with a draft pick, that'd be in the top 5. It's easily the worst trade in NFL history.
I don't know if top 5, I think, because 5 to 3, I know that's just 2 picks later, and maybe
I get you. I get you.
Maybe I'm nitpicking a little bit.
No, I get your point. I see where you're going with here.
But
it's horrible. It's horrible. The Seahawks could make the playoffs and still pick in the top 5 in the NFL draft.
Oh yeah. Because right now, the Broncos right now are 1, 2, 3, 4. They're 5th in the AFC, and oh man, they might be 5th overall, depending upon Carolina, New Orleans,
they're
and
close.
Chicago. But like right now, they might be have the 5th pick. Like it's amazing. Like it honestly just makes me smile. So that's awesome.
It's
fact
crazy
that could end up happening.
It truly could.
But no, I don't think the Chargers will. Right now, the Chargers are technically the 8th seed. They lose the tiebreaker over the Patriots. But I don't think the Chargers. I mean, you still got the Bengals. Yeah, it'll be the Bengals, Chargers, or Patriots that will get, because I don't think the Colts are going to run. I don't see the Colts doing it. Yeah, it'll be the Bengals, Chargers, and Patriots for that 7 seed. That's what I'll go with.
Yeah. I'm with you. I think it might have to be the proper reaction that the AFC West only gets 1, because just there's so many other better teams even for the 7th seed.
I did not see this just till now. Pat McAfee on the Pat McAfee show tweets out, Josh McDaniels has been given assurances that he'll return to coach the Raiders in 23. Good for him. I hope that happens, because then I don't have to worry about the Raiders next year. Good. It's a smart move. You know who else I return? I return Nathaniel Hackett. He's doing a great job. They're really turning the shit.
He's doing a bang up job.
I would keep Nathaniel Hackett. And, Brandon Staley doing a great job. I'd keep them all. Too many coaches get fired after a couple bad years. We need to give them more time. They all need to stay.
They all should stay.
Those are good, smart football decisions.
Sure. I bet you thought Urban Meyer should have gotten a full season.
No. I can't stand Urban Meyer that much. Urban Meyer, get out of my life.
No, I'm with you. I'm really happy.
I like Ohio State now.
Yeah.
Like Ryan Day, Ohio State. I like Ohio State.
Second best team in football.
Yeah. And Ohio State, their fans are annoying as hell.
Oh yeah, that's any team that's been perennially good. Their fans are always annoying.
No, I disagree with that. No, Ohio State fans are truly just obnoxious and terrible.
And I said any team that's perennially good has fans like that.
But they're like over the top.
Yeah.
Do you know any Ohio State fans?
I know one. He's very annoying.
Yeah. See.
Yeah.
Awful. But I don't know, of the Ohio State fans that I have come in contact with, which are many, there's only one of them who is not crazy super annoying. Otherwise, that's just who they are. At some point in time, that's who you are And that's Ohio State fans. Like, they're the worst fan base in all of sports.
Fair.
Not even close. Awful. But I like Ryan Day, and I like CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
I like Smith and Jigba,
Yeah.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
I like the players. I like them.
Yeah.
I hope CJ Stroud wins the Heisman. Says Deuce Vaughn.
He's up there.
I want him to win the Heisman.
He has a chance. He's got a shot.
I think he's the favorite right now.
Did his odds pass Hendon Hooker's?
Did Pat who?
Hendon Hooker?
Oh, I don't think Hooker was ever leading, was he?
He was up until the Georgia game. He became the new Heisman favorite, I think,
Really?
leading into the Georgia game. Now, the Georgia game probably changed that a little bit, and then immediately they dropped a 66 piece on Missouri. So
We'll have to look that up here. We'll look that up during the break. Coming up, we'll finish things off with Chiefs Jaguars recap here on Mic'd Up. CJ Stroud is the favorite, plus 150 to Hendon Hooker's plus 400. So heavy for the Heisman to go to Ohio State's CJ Stroud. Patrick Mahomes is now plus 125 to win the NFL MVP. He was plus 900 earlier this year.
he was.
Raise your hand if you got it at plus 900.
You got a plus 9. Good for you.
Oh yeah, right when it came out and it was plus 900, I said, "Yep."
I think mine was plus 550. It was good. Like, trust me, Pat. If Mahomes wins the MVP, I'm gonna make a nice little payday.
Oh, I will make a very solid.
So I will take my money I'm gonna get from Mahomes winning an MVP.
I definitely hope that's the case. The Chiefs are just so much better all around than almost any other team. You've probably heard this stat out there before, but I'll give it to you real quick before we finish things off. Teams in the NFL this year that forced 3 turnovers and didn't commit one. So they were +3 in the turnover margin and didn't turn it over themselves. They were 22-0 on the year. They were full of our ball, never lost. Add in then the Chiefs failing to recover an onside kick, so the Eagles started the game with the football and got the football at half. And the Chiefs still won by 10. And the Eagles got a garbage time touchdown. It was 27-10 with 5 minutes to go in the game. And they were -3 in the turnover margin and lost an onside kick. I will give the Chiefs a little bit of benefit because the Jaguars missed 2 field goals. That does help. It does. Now, one of those field goals was a little bit longer, which is nice. By the way, Harrison Butker missed another PAT, so we're up to 4.
Yeah, he did.
So this is what it is.
Yeah.
I will say this: he's not worth $5 million if he's missing that. Not $5 million. What does he make? Does he make 4?
4 something. It's definitely more than it probably should. And I love Harrison. Probably a little bit of a steeper contract than you need to be.
His cap hit this year's 2.7.
Not bad.
Next year's cap hit's 4.4. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. I'm not paying a kicker $4.4 million to my cap.
Unless they're named Justin Tucker.
Yeah. He's the only one.
Okay.
But is it worth it to... I mean, his dead cap's 2.1 next year, so...
I will also say this on the Butker conversation real quick.
I'm just saying...
He's still not healthy.
I'm just... This is more not so about Butker in general.
Yeah. It's you in general.
No. It's... I just wouldn't pay for a kicker.
Yeah, it's you. You wouldn't pay a kicker.
Unless you're the best kicker in the history of the NFL.
That's my point. Like, it's more of a you thing, which is fine. Yeah.
Like, I would not pay Saquon Barkley a whole bunch of money.
No.
I just wouldn't do that. Yeah, he won't be the kicker in 2024 unless he restructures his deal. There's no way the Chiefs are paying Harrison Butker $4.5 million to kick. No. $2 million? Yes. I think that, no. Spend that money elsewhere. Go get a rookie. We'll just live with it.
I heavily disagree, but we don't have time to get into that.
I mean, kicker's pretty simple. Like, do you value the kicker or do you not? Like, if his was a $2 million cap hit, I'm all right with it. I just feel like spending almost $5 million for a kicker, no.
I disagree heavily, but we do not have time to get into this.
Why not?
Because we have a show to end up here in less than 5 minutes.
Okay, summarize it in like 30 seconds.
Harrison Butker is the second best kicker in the game. So therefore, I'm willing to pay him as the second best kicker in the game.
All right.
Simple as that.
Simple as that. Coming up next, we're going to finish things off with the mic drop. What do you got for your mic drop?
NFL games overseas are super fun. That Germany game was awesome. I'm excited for the Chiefs to go over to Germany.
John Denver in Germany. Did
So
not
cool.
realize that. I'll stay with the NFL. NFL, how can you not see that your officials are having some issues right now? 12 men on the field at 1st and goal at the 3. That could have decided the game. That's unacceptable. 12 men. My son, who's 2.5, can count to 12. Coming up, though, 580 Sports Talk. If you missed anything, head to our website, 580www.com. We'll talk to you tomorrow.